DreAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. What the hell is that? That is a go-getter energy that moves anyone, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic, we are going to talk about some inaccurate formulas that many people, some of you who are listening to this right now, I'm not mad at you for it. We're going to help solve the issue that some of you may be operating by right now. We're going to help fix that problem because, see, one of the things we do here at Work on Your Game is we want to make sure that you're operating by accurate formulas, and then you can work on your game so that at least while you're working on your game, you actually know what you're working on and why you're working on it. Because sometimes you might be out here working on your game and you're trying to develop game that is not even going to help you get to where you want to go. You think it is, but because your formula is inaccurate, you are operating by false pretenses. We're going to fix all of that here today and moving forward in every episode that comes out after this, and in the past in every episode that's come out before this. But before we get into any of that, let me tell all of you that I have a daily motivation text that I send out for free every single day to everyone who's in my text community. If you are a person who would like to receive that daily motivation text, and I know you are, all you got to do is text me at the following number. Write this down: 305-384-6894. Text that number right now. Let me tell you the number again: 305-384-6894. Send a text message right now to that number, and every day when I send out my daily motivation text, guess what's going to happen? You are going to receive it. And that message is guaranteed to keep you focused, sharp, and on point. So now we got that out the way. Let's get to talking about these inaccurate formulas. Now, I talked about accurate formulas and making sure that you're operating by them back in episode 2154 not too long ago, but I'm putting all of these, what I'm going to share with you here, in here today so that you will be able to diagnose and understand if and when you catch yourself misleading yourself by operating by inaccurate formulas. And you're basically going to use these, is what I'm going to share here today, as guides and protection for yourself to make sure that while you're working on your game and improving yourself and striving to get better and planning for your future and strategizing and doing all that stuff, make sure that you're actually aiming at the right target. Because sometimes people are aiming at a target that's not even the target that's going to get you to where you want to go, or you're working on something and you're working on the wrong thing. Any of you who's ever read any books on leadership, you understand that one of the key concepts of leadership is being able to see the forest from the trees, as they say. In other words, a good soldier is a person who can navigate amongst all the trees, but a good leader is a person who elevates themselves above the fray of the trees, and they look around and say, wait a minute, we are navigating through the wrong forest. So even though you're doing a great job of dodging in between all the trees, you're dodging in between the trees of a forest that we don't even need to get through. We need to be in the forest over there, not in this forest over here. So some of you are working really hard to achieve an outcome that once you finish achieving it, it's still not going to get you to where you want to go, but you are operating under the pretense that it will. That's an inaccurate formula. So we got to make sure that you're operating accurately and you're aiming at the right place and following a strategy that's actually going to get you what you want. So today what we're going to do is, so we talked in episode 2154 about how to make sure you're aiming at the right thing. Today I'm going to point out some of the wrong things that you might be targeting yourself towards that are going to slow you down and actually send you backwards, regardless and despite your hard work and your efforts and your energy and your focus. As a matter of fact, they're going to send you back because of your hard work and your focus and your energy and attention. Because the harder you work on an inaccurate formula, the further away from where you want to be you will actually get. You following what I'm saying here? So let's get into this so that you understand this. Point number one, topic once again is some inaccurate formulas that you have been taught and that you've been operating by, and we're going to start fixing those here today. The number one most inaccurate formula that people that I have heard, let's just say from my perspective, this is the one that I hear about the most, the one that people tell me about the most, the one that people are most fooled by, especially coming from Western society, especially in the United States of America, is the inaccurate formula of hard work. Now, let me be clear here. I'm not telling you that hard work is a bad thing. I'm not telling you that just working hard in itself is something that you should stop doing. But hard work itself, by itself, as a lone ingredient, is an inaccurate formula for creating success. Do you follow what I'm saying? I want you to note my wording here. And the things that I say here on the show, I really want you to pay attention to the wording and the way that I put words together, because you are listening to a professional. All right, it is my business, it is my career, it is my job, it is my profession to put words together in a particular way. So when I put words together a certain way, do not paraphrase what I said. Do not change around what I said. I want you to take it exactly as it is being said. And everything that I say, not just the piece that you want to pay attention to, but all of it. Hard work is an element of success, folks. Okay? Hard work is an element of success. If you want to be successful, at some point, somewhere, you will have to work hard. Did everybody hear me? But I also want you to understand that hard work by itself is not a complete formula for success. I'm going to repeat what I just said, because there are some slow people who their comprehension is not as fast as some of the rest of you. So those of you who already picked up on this, just bear with me, because I had to say this again, because there are some, you understand this, or those of you who already understand this, you understand that there's some people who don't process things as quickly as you do. So I got to say this one again. I'm being facetious, but I'm also not. Hard work is an element of success. Yes, everyone who is successful is working hard in some way, shape, or form. However, at the same time, hard work by itself is not enough to create success. Now, I want those of you who are new to me, you're not familiar with this way of thinking, and maybe your brain is a little bit broken right now. Your brain is twisting in pretzels trying to understand what you just heard. I want you to understand something. A wise individual is capable of holding multiple seemingly conflicting ideas in his or her head, or they or their head, at the exact same time. That is what a wise person is able to do. They can take two ideas that seem to be in conflict with each other and understand the value of each at the exact same time without needing one to cancel out the other. This is an accurate formula for understanding hard work's place in the realm of creating success. And again, please pay attention to the wording and the order of operations and the way that these words are put together, because they are said in a certain way for a specific reason. Understand the difference between elements and formulas, folks. An element is a piece of a puzzle. A formula is the entire puzzle. Hard work is an element, it is not a formula. An element of success is kind of like salt and pepper on a sandwich. All right, for those of you who maybe need something visual to help you understand this. Now, salt and pepper, do they make your sandwich better? So you go to a deli and order a sandwich. They say, do you want salt, pepper, and oregano? Yes. All right, do they make your sandwich taste better? If you like salt, pepper, and oregano, I'm assuming the answer is yes. But however, if you take the sandwich away and all you had to eat, the entire meal was just a bunch of salt, pepper, and oregano in the palm of your hand, you had to lick your palm to eat it, would you be satisfied with that meal? Probably not. So salt, pepper, and oregano have their place. They can make a sandwich better, but they are not a sandwich on their own. Everybody get me? It makes things better, but it does not suffice on its own. I hear from too many people, and in the world that we're in now, I would expect that this wouldn't be happening anymore, but I was wrong. I hear from way too many people of all ages. This is not limited to some adolescents or some young adults who maybe don't have enough life experience. I hear this from people who are older than me, and I'm 40 years old. I hear from people older than me, and in all different industries, all different aspects of life, who point out how much effort they have given to something, how hard they work at something, as if that is a badge of honor, or as if that means they are owed something, or as if the harder they work, the more success they deserve to have, as if their hard work is their golden ticket to success. This is an inaccurate formula. Yes, you should work hard, but you need to work hard on things that will actually produce the desired results that you want. So working hard by itself, again, without a proper strategy, will not produce what you want. And you need to know what your desired outcomes are. Many people, again, are working hard. They do not know what their desired outcome is. They are operating by an inaccurate formula. And the challenge with this is, here's the real big challenge with this, is that sometimes you can work hard without an accurate formula as to what you're working hard on and end up, luckily, stumbling into success via hard work. And then you think, well, all right, all I got to do is just do that over and over and over again, and I'll just keep creating success. This is an inaccurate formula, folks, because eventually it's not going to work, and then you're going to wonder what the hell happened. since you have already ingrained in your mind that hard work will create success. And it's already been taught to you by your teachers, your favorite motivators, athletes, parents, etc., up to this point. I mean, this is not the first time you ever heard this before, is it? At least not that hard work creates success. Maybe it's the first time you're hearing that it can be an inaccurate formula. Do not just work hard just to say that you worked hard. This is what many people are going out and doing every single day. And again, this is not limited to some 19-year-old kid. This is people who are 30, these are people who are 55, there are people who are 47, who are going out every single day working hard and saying, well, look, hard work is the reason I created my success. No, hard work applied to a proper strategy and an accurate formula is what created your success. You might not recognize or think about your proper strategy and formula as often as you think about how hard you're working, but trust me, you are working hard on a proper strategy and formula if that hard work is consistently producing a result. You follow me? So it is an inaccurate formula to just work hard blindly. We call this grinding blindly, and I talked about grinding blindly as an inaccurate formula back in episode 1697. That is linked down below in the show notes. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is some inaccurate formulas that you have been taught that I'm going to help you unlearn here today. Number 2, being good or even being great at what you do is an inaccurate formula. Yes, you heard me correctly. Just like hard work, it almost works the exact same way. Yes, it is a good idea to be good at what you do. It's a good idea to be great at what you do. Good, great, let's use them interchangeably for the sake of this conversation in this context. However, being great by itself will not get you your desired outcome. Being good by itself will not get you your desired outcome. What do I mean by this? Even being good and working hard together will not get you your desired outcome. It's important that I lay this out here because I know a lot of people who are really good at what they do. And some of you I may be describing you here, or maybe somebody that you know. I know people who are really good at what they do, and they work hard at doing it, yet they do not have their desired outcomes. And the result of this is frustration. Maybe some people who are in this room or listening to me right now, you have been this person at some points. I know I have been this person at points where I knew I was good at what I did, maybe even great at what I did, and I was working hard at it, but I still didn't have the outcome that I want, and I was really frustrated. Like, wait a minute, I'm good at what I do and I work hard. Why don't I have the result that I want? But my mind works a little bit different than I think the average mind, which is why I'm the host of this show here, and I'm giving you this game. I say that humbly, but also factually, and this is why I got to break this down and take it to another level. The reason why this happens is because many people become good, work hard, yet they still don't have a strategy for applying their greatness and their efforts towards a specific outcome. They don't have a strategy for getting their efforts and their skill to lean them towards a specific predetermined target. This is a challenge that a lot of athletes have. A lot of entrepreneurs have this. A lot of brand builders have this challenge. A lot of people in life, period, have this challenge. I respond to my text messages every single day. And when people come into my text community, I ask them all the same question. First of all, how'd you find out about me? How'd you get in here? But then the other question I ask is, what's your biggest challenge right now? What are you working on right now? Why do you want to receive a daily motivation text message? What is it going to do for you? And the common answer, the one that I get more often than any other answer, is I want to be more consistent. I want to be more disciplined. I want to do more of the things that are going to get me towards my desired outcome. And often, you may be surprised to notice when I follow up with people and ask them, well, what is that desired outcome? Where are you going? What are you trying to work on? Where do you want to get to? People either don't have an answer or they have very vague responses. In entrepreneurship, this happens as well. I'm a person who works as a coach. I work with people one-on-one. I have a group coaching program called the Bulletproof Mastermind. And often I talk to people who are willing to work hard. If anyone is joining a coaching program, meaning you are investing your time and money into someone helping you get to where you want to get to, you are probably willing to work hard and you at least think that you're good at what you're doing. The challenge for many people is that they have very unclear strategies as to how they're going to get to where they want to go. Usually if someone is in a coaching program, they have some idea of where they want to be. The problem is they're working off inaccurate formulas of bad strategies that simply will not get them to where they want to go. But because they've been working hard for so long, because they think they're good at what they do, the challenge for me often, this is not every time, so if you're in one of my coaching programs, I might not be talking about you, but I might be talking about you. The challenge for some people is I have to get them off of I had to unwean them from the strategies that they think are going to work and get them on a strategy that will actually work. Sometimes that's a lot of my work, is not getting a person to show up, not getting them to work hard, not getting them to believe in themselves, not getting them to be good at what they do. It's actually getting them to understand that, okay, let's stop doing that strategy and let's start doing this strategy. That's often the bulk of my work sometimes when I'm working as a coach. Any of you who works as a coach, maybe you have seen the same thing. Maybe some of you who are listening to this right now, you are the exact person who I need to be helping, because you are working hard and you're good, but you're operating off an inaccurate formula, i.e. bad strategy. So no matter how hard you work, you're still not going to get to where you want to get to. And the sooner you figure that out, the better. The longer it takes you to figure that out, the worse, because you're going to put a lot of your best investments, time, money, attention, energy, focus, into something that's not going to get you where you want to get to. And then you're going to think something's wrong with the world, or something's wrong with you, or something's wrong with the system, when none of those is the problem. The problem is you were operating from an inaccurate formula from the very beginning. The challenge is nobody ever told you. Nobody ever pointed it out to you. Now, I can't specifically point out what inaccurate formula you're operating off of right now, but if you get in touch with me, I can help you. So send me a text. I gave you my number, 305-384-6894, and I can help you out and at least identify if you're operating off an inaccurate formula. Because if you are, it won't take me long to figure it out. Again, this is my professional skill. Many people do not have a strategy for applying their skill and effort towards a specific target. The simplest example I can give is when I was trying to get into professional basketball. Me personally, I knew I was good at basketball compared to the wider world of basketball players. I'm trying to become a pro, so I figured I'm at least in the top 95% of pro basketball players. I get a contract, I'm in the top 99%. I knew I was good enough to be at that level, and I knew I worked hard on my game. I was doing that before YouTube, before you even knew about it. But unless I followed a specific strategy, and until I followed a specific strategy, or at least I stumbled upon, is a better way of putting it, a specific strategy that could get me signed to a contract, my talent and hard work meant absolutely nothing. See, I had talent and I was working hard before I signed a contract. It was only when I signed a contract and then I started putting my game and skills out there on the internet for everybody to see that I got recognition for it, and I started to get some return on investment for my skill and hard work. But I had skill and hard work before I ever made money from basketball. Some of you right now have skill and you are working hard at your thing, whatever it is, whether it's somewhere in the entrepreneurial world, whether it's in your professional career, whether it's at a sport. You have skill and you work hard, yet you are not getting any type of return on investment on your skill and hard work, and you're either frustrated or you're on the verge of frustration trying to figure out why this situation is the situation. And I'm telling you what it is. You don't have a strategy. You do not have a clear strategy for what you're doing, and or you are not holding yourself accountable or being held accountable to executing on that strategy. Strategy, accountability, execution. These are the three main things that I help people with, by the way, in case you didn't know. And at the end of this episode, I will tell you how you can work with me directly and how I can help you directly. Yes, me personally can help you directly in those three areas: strategy, accountability, and execution. This is not a certified coach of mine. This is not an assistant of mine. This is not a bot. It's me personally. If you want to work with me directly on these three things, I can help you out. Now, do I sound like I know what I'm talking about? You can use this same formula, folks, to get honest with yourself. And again, swap out. I'm talking about basketball. I had to stumble upon a strategy to make it work in basketball. Once I figured out that I had made it work, all I did was deconstruct the strategy, and then I started writing books about it, writing blogs about it, making videos about it, explaining it to other people, because again, this is how my mind works. I don't think everyone can do this, but the way that my mind works is I'm super analytical, I'm super logical. I like breaking things down to their simplest elements and then explaining it to other people so that they can understand it. This is what I do. All right, I just gave you my whole business model right there, whether we're talking on this show right here, a text message, a YouTube video, or even a coaching program. So you got to figure out, you have to decipher, rather, there's nothing to figure out. You have to decipher why you are good and working hard and not getting the outcome. Well, we know the reason is you lack a clear strategy. Now we got to figure out, where is the strategy faulty and how do you fix it? Now again, you can try to figure that out on your own. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But knowing that you're on the clock in here in life, I would suggest you get some help. And guess who can help you out? Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is some inaccurate formulas that you have been taught, and I'm trying to wean you off of those inaccurate formulas because they are slowly killing you, because every single day you're getting a day older, yet you're not getting closer to your outcomes. Number 3, Believing in yourself. There's another inaccurate formula. Yes, I know these are things that you've been taught since you were old enough to understand language, that if you work hard, if you're really good at what you do and you believe in yourself, you will achieve outcomes. You will achieve specific outcomes in life. Check this out. To this very day, when I'm on YouTube, for example, I still somebody will leave a comment on some old basketball video that I made years back. A lot of the content that I made has a long tail, meaning you could come across it today, and even though I made it 8 years ago, it's still relevant to you right now. And somebody will leave some comment saying something along the lines of, I'm trying to make a basketball team, or I'm trying to make it pro, or I'm trying to get better, I'm trying to get my teammates to pass me the ball, what do I need to do? And before I get to see the comment and respond myself, some other person will see the comment and they will respond. And I can't tell you how often I see this type of response. And I've been seeing this type of response for over a decade. Somebody will come in and they'll say something along the lines of, well, look, this such and such player, they didn't get good until some later on period in life. All you got to do is keep working hard, keep believing in yourself, keep showing up, keep having game, believe in your skills, work hard, show up. The same three things: work hard, believe in yourself, and be good at what you do, and things are going to work out. And it's a very positive, it's a very upbeat, it's a very optimistic response that you can give to somebody. And almost every time when I see this, invariably, the original poster, the player who posted the original challenge, they will always respond in a very positive and very grateful way to this random commentator who came in with this upbeat, optimistic response. Just work hard, believe in yourself, and have game. The challenge with this is that it's a bullshit piece of advice that usually does not produce the desired outcome. That advice alone is not going to get a player to where they need to be. That advice alone will not get an entrepreneur to where they need to be. That advice alone will not get you where you need to be. The challenge with it is, because it feels good, and because it sounds good, and because it's so self-affirming, because it is so validating for a person to hear that often, and again, there's another thing. I can name names what I want. I know a lot of people, I'm talking adults, these are people over the age of 35, who would much prefer to have someone say something to them that validates their ideas and opinions and beliefs and their current faulty strategy. They'd rather be validated for that than to have somebody look them in their face and kind of slap them upside the head, metaphorically of course, with the truth that this strategy is not going to work. Now, if you want to keep trying it, go ahead, but it's not going to work. A lot of people don't want to hear that. And a lot of people would rather ignore you telling them that and just accept you giving them some, again, validating feedback that makes them feel good about the idea that they showed up with in the first place. And these are people who claim that they want help. Now, again, any of you who's ever worked in a position of any form of coaching or mentorship, or people come to you for help, how often do you run into a person or they run into you, who tell you that they want help, but then as soon as you start offering them critiques of what they showed up with, you notice that they would rather you just validate what they already believed rather than you actually tell them what is going to work. Has any of you ever run into that? Am I the only one? Is this only endemic to me? I know that it's not. Many people would rather be validated for their bullshit than actually get constructively criticized with something that will actually help them. This is another false idea that people incorrectly believe, that believing in yourself and believing in your idea, that is sufficient for creating the outcomes that you want in life. Now, let's be clear. Just like being good and just like hard work, self-belief is a necessary element of success. I would not leave home without it. All right. I believe in self-belief. I wrote a book about confidence. I've given 2 TED Talks on confidence. I talk about confidence in damn near every book I've ever written, no matter what the subject. You still need a strategy to follow. Now, if you're confident that you want to see a sunset, but you keep looking to the east, you're never going to see the sunset, because the sunset's in the west. No matter how much you believe it, it's not going to happen. This is what many people, and that sounds like a silly example, but there are many people who are operating their lives right now by that exact example. They believe so thoroughly that they're going to see a sunset, even though they keep looking to the east, and I tell them, well, that's poor strategy, you need to look to the west. They will rather reject that because they feel like I'm not validating them and they rather listen to the person who tells them, well, just keep believing and just keep being good at looking and keep looking to the east and you're going to see that sunset. And they thank that person, but then they ignore what I have to say to them. Again, this happens on all levels, from paid coaching clients to YouTube to live audience events to one-on-one conversations. I've had this happen to me on every level. Someone would rather be validated for their bullshit strategy than be constructively criticized and have that bullshit replaced with a useful strategy. Because a useful strategy requires them to change the way that they think about themselves and think about their approach. And on another note, and we'll talk about this in a future episode, so many people have their personal worth attached to the validation of their own ideas that is the blind spot that is slowing them down from getting to where they want to get to. I just did a presentation and a training, as a matter of fact, in my Bulletproof Mastermind about blind spots. And the more blind you are to your own blind spots, the slower you will move forward, or you won't move forward at all until or unless you fix them. So if you want to see that training and get everything that I gave in that training, just join my Bulletproof Mastermind, which I'll tell you about at the end of this episode. And you can see the archive of every training I've ever done inside of the Mastermind. What's unfortunate for everyone who has these inaccurate formulas that they're operating by is that, and actually the reason why so many people have these so deeply ingrained in them is not because it sounds like such a great idea, is because people have been taught these things since childhood. All right, since you were 2 years old and now you're 43, your parents have been telling you this, your school teachers told you this, your motivators and your religious leaders and all the people who you looked up to, know, like, and trusted told you that if you just believe in yourself, you get good at what you do and you work hard, you're going to achieve specific outcomes. This is stuff that makes you feel good but does not actually do good for you. This is very important. You have to be very wary of information that makes you feel good but will not help you do good. And there's so much of it going around these days that a person like me will never be out of work. I will never not have something to talk about, because there's so much of this bullshit out there that I could just make an episode every day just talking about that stuff and leave out everything else that I talk about here on this show. I'm not going to do that, but I could, just letting you know. Luckily for you, there are people like me who can throw some cold water in your face in a good way. The challenge is you got to be willing to wake up when somebody points out the bullshit that you've been operating by. And the challenge is many people simply don't want to wake up. They want to keep sleeping. But we got one more, point number 4. Today's topic, once again, some inaccurate formulas that you have been taught and that you are operating by, and that are the very reason why you are moving slowly or not moving forward at all right now. Number 4, having people tell you that you deserve something. Here's the point, folks, and I just talked about this in episode 1215. The question is, does everyone deserve a chance? Episode number 2112, you only deserve it when you have it. And on a separate note, but using the same concept, episode 1795, why female athletes do not deserve quote-unquote equal pay. You only deserve things when you have them. That's the only time you deserve something. You don't deserve anything. Only thing you deserve by being a citizen of the United States of America is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This deserving thing is the one that probably, if I had to pick one that annoyed me the most, is probably the deserving thing, because the other ones I can point out some tangible ways that they don't make sense, but the deserving part is much more emotional for people, so it's harder to get people to remove themselves from it. The good thing is this deserving concept, for most people, it is removed from their psyches by the time they reach adulthood, because they realize our deserving alone is not going to get you shit. Many people learn this just through experience of the truth of life just smacking them upside the head often enough they get the point. But there are still some people who never get it. Every now and then I hear this with somebody, they use this word deserve. Usually it's from people under the age of 21, maybe 25, and by the time adults usually get into quote-unquote real life, we throw away this deserving concept. You only deserve things when you have them, not a second sooner. But I don't want you to take this as a statement of discouragement, that you can't get something just because you don't have it right now. If you really believe you deserve something, go get it. Then you'll have it. Simple as that. Your belief in deserving and the reality of having will match if you are willing to take action on the things that you believe you deserve. See, deserving something doesn't mean just sit around thinking about it and hopefully it'll fall in your lap. Deserving, if you want to think about deserving something, that means you are willing to go out and take the necessary actions in order to make your reality and your thoughts match. Life is a competitive sport, folks, and at many points in life, you will need to take forceful action in order to get the things that you want. Not in a negative way, but in a proactive way, you need to take forceful action. So if you are sitting back passively believing that you deserve something that you do not yet have, you should get comfortable just sitting back and passively watching life pass you by, because that's all that's going to happen. All right, passivity and deserving do not match. And if you have been conditioned to believe that they do, I want to try to help. I want to urge you to fix that immediately, because wherever you could be passive and think you deserve something and you ended up getting it, all right, that situation, that circumstance is probably not going to last forever in your life. So you better figure out how you can get active and actually start doing stuff that where you actually had to do the work, because that situation is not going to last forever. That gravy train is eventually going to slow down. All that being said, let's recap today's class, which is some inaccurate formulas that you have been taught and many of you have been living by. Talked about accurate formulas in episode 2154. If you haven't checked that, it's down below in the show notes. Number one, the fallacy of hard work. Hard work is an element of success. It is not a formula for success. Yes, you should work hard, but you have to work hard on things that actually produce a result. In other words, a strategy. Number two, being good or even being great. Just like hard work, you should be really good and ideally great at what you do, but working hard by itself will not produce the desired outcome. Many people do not have a strategy for applying their greatness and hard work towards a specific outcome, so even though they have both, they don't get the outcome that they want. And you can use this formula in any aspect of your life. Number three, believing in yourself is another inaccurate formula. This is another idea that many people believe is sufficient for creating the outcomes they want in life, and this is 100% untrue and inaccurate. The challenge with this one is you've been taught this since you were a child, by your parents, by your teachers, by whoever you looked up to and respected. They told you if you just believe in yourself, you're good at what you do, and you work hard, you're going to get the outcomes that you want. Well, look around at the people who told you that. How many of them are living a life that you would want to live? Probably fewer than 10% of them. So explain to me how everyone has that idea, yet only 10% had a success. There's a reason for that, folks. Ask the right questions. Point number four, having other people tell you that you deserve something. This is the one that is so emotionally ingrained in so many people. Usually I hear from people under the age of 25, and by the time we get to adulthood and start facing real life, we realize that this is a bullshit idea that somebody sold to us. Do not take this statement as a discouragement, though, what I just said to you. You really believe you deserve something, go get it, and then you'll have it. Now, you don't deserve something until you are in possession of it, and that's the quickest way to do it, is to go get it. Not in a negative way, but in a proactive way. Do not sit around and watch life pass you by, passively expecting things to work in your favor. It does not work that way. That is not the way the deal was set up. All this said, two things for you to do. Number one, get my daily motivation text by texting me at my number 305-384-6894. And number two, join my Bulletproof Mastermind. That's where you can work with me directly. Get a live training with me every single week, and you can build relationships and network with the hand-picked members of my mastermind who are already in right now. The way you can join is by going to workonyourgameuniversity.com. That's workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.